Didi, the last question on water. When there's a breakage, people can still understand why pipes break, old pipes, asbestos, etc. But the after service, when that happens, and they want to know what the situation is, your call center, it's atrocious. A very good thing, apparently, not apparently, I saw it in action, is the Facebook page that you've got now. It works wonderful. But your call center is something, it leaves a lot to be desired, and that makes people hurtful, to put it mildly.
No, Johan, I concur with you. There are serious problems with the call center, and I think we've had this discussion before. I've looked into it, and I think there are various contributing factors. My view is that I don't think the systems in place is really working. We need to relook at that. I don't think it's entirely a people problem. I think it is partly people problem, but it's also very seriously systems problem. And like I've always been saying to my staff, all that the people want to know is that what is going on, when the water is going to be back, and they want to know that somebody's on site dealing with it. I think that is what they want. So I must readily agree that it's a problem, because I mean, you know, my phone is now like a call center, because everybody's got my number and they know, call the municipal manager and it will get done. So everybody just does that, and then I have to start running around. Not that it's a problem, but that's not how you should run an organization. That's not how you should run it. You should be able to have checks, balances, when the call comes in, how it happens. And what I've said, and we have agreed, is that we are not using technology to its maximum for our benefit. And I think if you communicate and you can use technology, you can get around your problems. And that's one of the initiatives we put, where we're now on Facebook, updating. And I think the people have taken that and have said, listen, now you're telling us, we know what it is, we understand. So, Johan, I think with that one, we're definitely going to look at doing that. And you'll see in the next few months, there are going to be serious changes unfolding with the call center. We are going to deal with that. We're considering various options. Also, we're trying to limit the response time, where when a call comes in, what is the response? And we've also now enlisted the help of a contractor. So that is really working, because the contractor gets in after hours, whatever it is, and we are making progress. But again, let me add, it's not the kind of progress you're looking for. So, but we are looking at it. But I fully agree with you. Call center, big problem.
May I suggest you can use eHouseit in the process?
Yeah, no, I did say to my manager, and she said she had a discussion with you, and there's a way that you are going to find how to do it. So I'm more than happy, you know, if that's going to be a medium to communicate with people, then by all means. But she told me that it's in place, and I'm hoping that one of the days you're going to tell me we are rolling it out.
I hope so. Something before I forget, still about water. The water quality. Now, I don't want to exaggerate, and you know how these things get rolling. Anyway, the fact is that some people say that they've even had worms in their water. I mean, do you know about anything like that?
Johan, I've been picking this up, but to date, nobody has given that specific evidence. I've had various people for whatever reasons, and then the other thing is that I want to say this in a respectful way, is that where we have a serious problem like it is, and there's evidence that the water, we need to act. But then when you're making, unsubstantiated statements in the heat of making some speech some way, I can't take note of things like that and then respond to that, you know, this thing. But where this, just to respond on that, Johan, is that our water, we have to make sure that we meet blue drop standards. And we have independent people who test our water from time to time. And we can give you those results. There is no problem. We're upfront open. And in terms of a blue drop status, we are quite high with that. In fact, Monday, Tuesday, next week from Monday, the inspectors from Department of Water Affairs are here to start inspecting and see whether we're conforming to blue drop standards. And Umgeni Water tests our water, their laboratory, and will give you the... And where it's brought to my attention that there's a serious problem, we'll deal with it. But I've never had a situation where you've said your water has gone to a quality that people are alleging. So through the medium of it, let me say, if there's anybody that has had this, what normally happens, Johan, is that if there's a break in a pipe, and once that pipe is fixed, then for a few liters you might find your water will come brown. So you just need to let that run. But after that, then the water is fine. But it can't be, I can't, and this is one time, I will never defend Ugu, if never, but I can't agree with the statements, the sweeping statements some people are making that Ugu's water is not. We are telling you, take the water and test it. And if you find that it's not complying, then let's talk about it. It can't be where people are then sending out in the purpose of making these speeches at whatever platforms that you don't drink Ugu water, you must boil it before that. I mean, the truth of the matter is that the entire district drinks our water. Has there ever been an outbreak of cholera or something which has been attributed to Ugu water? Not yet, yeah. So I think let's be a bit reasonable about that and a bit realistic about that. But I'm still inviting people who have had this, bring it forward, and we will look at it. And if it is so, we will deal with the people.
Didi, let's go to something else, also in the AG report. Well, it's not in the AG report, but it's as a result of that I'm asking the question. Contracts. We hear that service providers, contractors, that they are going to be taken to court, that there's going to be legal action. Anything on that?
Johan, I think what you're talking about is where we had a press conference and we told you that we had an investigation conducted by the provincial treasury and so on and so forth. Now that investigation has been concluded. The provincial treasury have submitted their recommendations to us. I've taken that to council. Council has adopted it. And like the recommendations, we have opened criminal cases. We have appointed a lawyer in terms of the recommendation to sue these contractors where we think they benefited illegally. So, and that will take its course in the courts of law. That will take its course through the justice system and the security agencies who are investigating. For ours, I've complied with the resolutions, and that's where it is.
So that's related to the finding that people who work here, that they had relatives who tendered.
No. This is related to the finding where it is alleged in the investigation that those contractors submitted false documentation, and on the basis of that false documentation got a tender that they should not have ordinarily got if they had submitted the correct documentation. So that has been picked up, and that is what we're dealing with. In that investigation, they have not implicated any staff, but if it comes out that staff were implicated, then we'll act against that staff. And we're fearless in acting against staff, you know that. Where we picked up this, we deal with the staff, some of them resign, and some of them obviously go through the disciplinary process.
If I understood you correctly the other day at the briefing, we're going on to personnel now, that personnel audit or a structured restructuring audit, or whatever one calls it, is going to take place.
No, it's already taken place. Like I said, it's been concluded.
And the idea is to bring down salaries. Yeah. Not salaries, but the salary budget.
Personnel costs.
Personnel costs. Yeah.
I think we have said this right from the beginning. In terms of the analysis done by COCTA, by Provincial Treasury, by the KZN Legislature, even by the AG, our personnel costs are too high. I think we all know that, and it's agreed. And I think I think it has been reported in the media all along. Now, what has happened is that even before I got here, the municipality, with funding from COCTA, has engaged a service provider to do a skills audit to see what is the skills, what is the levels, are the right people in the right jobs, and coupled with that, to produce an organizational structure to meet the core mandates of the municipality. That is almost concluded. It should be handed to us very shortly. Once that is done, then we will unpack that, take it to the council, and then start implementing the recommendations of what came out from that. Whatever processes come out from that, the municipality will ensure that it's done within the ambits of the law, and will engage all stakeholders and role players who have an interest in that. In terms of personnel costs, you will notice that when we have resignations and so on, we're not filling it externally unless it's a very specific skill that is not available internally, then we'll go out looking for it. But other than that, we're trying to confine it to within the organization and use what we have here so we can start reducing personnel costs without causing too much of disruption and without people losing their jobs. Overtime, we are working on that, and we are looking at bringing the cost of overtime down. And if you look at this December compared to last December, there's been a drastic reduction.
Okay, so last time also you mentioned overtime, so that's been brought down.
It's coming down, but not to where we want it. It's still work in progress. We're still working on it.
And what about something like travel allowances?
The council has adopted a new policy on vehicle subsidies on Thursday, and that policy will now be rolled out, and we'll implement that policy as it is. And our view is that that policy should regulate the use of subsidized vehicles.
And the personnel, are they amenable to all this?
I think what we have done is that we are following the law. We're getting a policy in place which has been adopted by the council, and it will now be to roll that policy out. And whatever consequences comes out in terms of rolling that policy out, we'll deal with those consequences as we find our way along. But we now believe that we have the policy, and we believe that the policy that we have will bring down the costs.
Okay, now, in conclusion, what is your message to the cynics out there that will say, too little, too late? They've said it so many times, watch them, they're going to go down the drain anyway.
Yeah. Johan, as you will understand, if we, like I told you the last time, if we were a business, obviously you would take some other drastic action, because when the AG tells you that you're not a going concern, then obviously you take action. But we are government. And as government, we have a duty to perform. We have a mandate in terms of the constitution to provide water and sanitation to the people of the district. If the municipality goes down, as you're saying, and as some of the cynics make, it's down and out, and then it's unable to provide that service, the national and provincial government will not sit back and let it happen. They will step in to make sure UGU executes its constitutional mandate. Now, my job here as an accounting officer is to ensure that that happens. And I can give you that I will try and do everything within my power to make sure that happens. And you can see, although there was some very negative publicity that happened last year, the reason why that publicity came about was because of the changes that were happening, because people didn't like what was happening. So although it brought a lot of negativity to the municipality, but if you unpacked what happened, why it happened, then you would have realized that what was happening because of changes, and people were being resistant to those changes. Now, like I told you the last time, whether I do it or whether someone else does it, it has to happen for us to make sure we meet that obligation. And national government and provincial government will assist the municipality and make sure that happens. So as for UGU closing down, it's not negotiable. It cannot close down. Let me tell you that it cannot close down. It has to continue to provide water and sanitation in whatever it is. And we've met with the leadership, and the leadership have made it clear to me in no uncertain terms. Fix it, sort this out, and make sure you do what you have to do so that UGU is in business to provide water and sanitation to all the people. And that is what we are doing, Johan, and there are various initiatives that are happening, like I told you, and it will continue to happen. And whatever consequences come along the way, we'll find it along the way and we'll deal with it. Nobody said the road was going to be easy. It's going to be very rocky. It's going to be very sensitive. Like you picked up, people are going to be affected. But at the end of the day, I have to do what is in the best interest of UGU and the people that UGU serves, not in the best interest of myself.
Didi, thank you very much. There are a lot of people behind you. Go for it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and thank you for giving us this opportunity. And like we said, we are looking, like I said previously, I'm only one person. Together with the management and the leadership, we can't do everything. So where we have people that are assisting us, and I must say, in as much as we have our critics, but we also have those who are supporting us. and and some of the people have just been phenomenal. The kind of support that they're offering, the kind of suggestions that they give you, just makes you feel that Ugu is really going to turn around, because the people realize that they need Ugu and Ugu needs the people. And I think now that we are finding each other and we are talking from the same page, really, right now I can see no reason why Ugu cannot turn around. And I think with that spirit, yeah, we'll go forward. But Lord willing, we'll get there.